Hey, this is Bruce from Awesome Arcades. So this is my classic cocktail table. There are two game board packages that you see talked about on the website for this machine. One has 60 classic games. The other one has 412 classic games. Now there is a bigger game board that you can plug into this cabinet that has more games. It's the game board for this. This is my ultimate cocktail table. What this machine does, what this machine does that is the same as that machine, it has joysticks on the north and south side, and it plays classic 80s games where I play until I die, and then the screen flips for the opposing side, and then they play until they die, and then we alternate taking turns. What it doesn't do is it doesn't allow you to play games where two people can play at the same time. Games like baseball, where I pitch, you hit. For that, you're gonna need this cabinet. So this cabinet basically has the joystick on the north and south side. You can't really see it, but it's the same as these little cabinets. Okay, so it plays Pac-Man. In addition, if you push a button, the screen orientation will flip from going this way. It'll flip over to that side. You can get up and change where you're sitting, and you can lift up the lid. Sorry, I don't have a whole bunch of room out here right now. You can lift up the lid or leave it down, and then you sit over on this side, and then you could play games like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Mario Brothers. Most games released after 1985 are gonna be playable on this machine. So only the early 80s games are played over here, and then over here you've got like Jeopardy, Family Feud, Texas Hold'em, Solitaire, all the Mario Brothers series, Defender, Asteroids, quite a few games. So the drawback to that cabinet is, I won't say the drawback, but the main difference is it's the price. That cabinet is double the price of these. These are the classic cocktail series. So I recently had a customer, Adela. She said, well, can I search for the games alphabetically or create a favorites list? Now, on the 60 game board and on the 412 game board, you cannot. Both of those boards came out, I think the 60 game board came out in 2009, and the 412 game board came out in 2012. Okay, so they're pretty antiquated technology, in terms of how fast technology moves. So you can actually take the game board for this cabinet and you can plug it into this machine and it'll play. But the reason I don't normally advertise it on the website is for two reasons. First of all, and it's so hard to explain this in an email, so I just kind of got to show you. All right, when you turn the machine on, you're on the one player side because it's got the start buttons, okay? And this is just a cab that I'm building, so ignore the fact that it's incomplete. But when you turn it on, notice the writing is upside down, okay? So it's in the settings mode right now, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna come down here to flip screen, okay, and it says select the item, plus one player start to enter. We're gonna press, and then you notice it flips. So it's now oriented to the correct side. For whatever reason, this super advanced game board, which I'm running in this cabinet right now, I'm running the game board from that more advanced cabinet. This game board came out in 2023. It's called the Pandora DX. I talk about it at length in the product description for that, the ultimate cocktail. So if you're curious, you could check it out or watch the marketing video for that particular machine. But for all of its strengths, the one drawback for this game card is it doesn't have that flip feature. When I plug the board in on this machine, it's gonna be upside down. And the only way that I can rotate the screen is I have to manually take the monitor out and turn it. So you'll notice these are the plug-in ports. It doesn't make sense to have them up here. Normally they would go from here right to the bottom of the monitor. But the only way that I can get it to show up, this is the one player side, the only way I can get the play to show up facing the correct orientation is to manually rotate the monitor 180 degrees. It doesn't have that flip feature. And I'm gonna just show you over here. This is what the monitor should like, okay? The plugins should be at the closest location. The shortest distance between any 2 points is a straight line, right? And again, I'll show you. On this one, I've had to manually rotate the monitor 180 degrees. It still works. It's a little cumbersome because if you look at the side, the cables are not as nice as I would like them to look. But if you wanted to get the bigger Pandora game board, put it in the cabinet, there's two things I would have to do. One, I have to manually rotate the monitor. Two, the trackballs, if you're gonna get the trackballs, the cables that are used to plug in the trackballs for every game board are different. Think about it like this. Think about if you have an Android and an iPhone, they have different charging cables. I think they're the same now, but they used to be different. It's kind of like that. So every game board has its own unique set of plugins for the trackballs. And if you're gonna get the Pandora DX, when I say Pandora, this is what it looks like. This white card is the Pandora DX. It has its own unique set of trackballs. So if you wanted to get this cocktail table, I would have to rotate the monitor and adjust the trackball plugins. It'd be about $100 for labor. Okay, here are the benefits of what this board does. First of all, and everything I'm about to tell you, you cannot do on the other game boards. Number one, you can search for the games alphabetically. So by pressing the start button, you can come in here and you can go down to search, and you can now start searching for the title of the game. On the other two boards, there's no way to search, and the games are not in any particular order on the other game board. Usually what I tell people is they say, well, how do I find my favorite game? I said, go to my website, go to the game list, press Control F, search for the title, and then write down the number on a Post-it and keep it somewhere close to the game so you don't have to scroll through the games every time to find the specific titles that you want. On this one, you can just search for the title, or you could create a favorites list, and I'll show you more about that in a second. So you can create a favorites list with up to 100 games. You can search for the games alphabetically. In addition, it has recently played games. Now, I just plugged this board in, so the only two games that have loaded up are Heavy Barrel and Miss Pac-Man, but that's a pretty cool feature. We're just getting started though. So in addition, this has 516 games. The other one only has either 60 games or 412 games. But here's the real kicker, and here's why I have the machine tilted. So if you press and hold the B button, in addition, you can plug in and use PlayStation controllers. So this is a PlayStation controller, and you can just see I'm trying to do this with one hand, but okay. And this machine only has A, B, C. This joystick has A, B, C, D. Now, for these 516 games, you're not going to need A, B, C, D. In fact, you're not even really going to need C. There's only like 2 or 3 games that use the third button. Like 99% of the games use A or B, sometimes both. If you press and hold the B button right now, the screen is going to flip. This is a vertical. It's going to flip over to here. Now, on that bigger cabinet, the $3,000 one, you have a panel right here with 2 joysticks. So you can come over here and you can play, but you've just spent $3,000. Let's say you want to spend $1,500 on this smaller cabinet, but you want to be able to play the side-scroll games. Well, it's possible to do it because now you can just use your PlayStation controllers. Now, I just have to warn you, number one, some of the games require 6 buttons. Not that many, I think like 10 or 15. All the Street Fighter games use A, B, C, D, E, F. And you'll notice on this side, there's 6 buttons per station. So one of the drawbacks, but 99% of the games that you play on this side of the cabinet are also going to use A and B. But over here, you now have 2,500 extra horizontal games. And here's the crazy thing. The Pandora DX game card costs about the same as the 60 game board. It's about $100. So I think the 412 board is 135. I think the 60 game board is about $60. And you can get the Pandora DX depending on where you buy it. I think you can get it on Amazon Prime right now for $65. The shipping is a little slow because I'm pretty sure it comes from China. There is a US vendor where you can buy it for I think $110 with faster shipping. But while you're over here, if you wanted to switch back over to the other side, you just press and hold down. It says 1, 2, 3, 4. It's basically A, B, C, D. Or you could press the B button. So watch this. We're going to press the B button. We're now going to flip from horizontal mode back over here to landscape mode. So if you get the bigger game card, you're not losing anything. In fact, you're gaining some games. So you're gaining, it's 516 vertical games. On the other one, you either get 412 or 60. Oh, you could pause the game. I forgot that. You can save your progress. So you could save where you're at if you're on level 10. Save, exit, turn the machine off, turn the machine on 5 days later. You could either start new or you could load your previously saved point and pick up where you left off. But that's not the best part. Here's the best part. In addition to 3,000 games, this machine has a built-in set of what are called emulators. So on the game card itself, there is a USB port, and I'll show you this here. So there's one USB port on the back of the card. I have plugged in a USB multi-port strip. You can plug in a USB power stick. Well, first you can download and plug in and play for free games from Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega Genesis, something called SNK, which is a company that makes fighting games like Tekken and a bunch of other games. Also, MAME files. MAME is an acronym, M-A-M-E. It's a file type. And there's a video. Basically, when you buy one of these, I send you the videos. But if you want, go on YouTube, search download games to Pandora DX. There's a video that walks you through it. The website that you go to is called VIMS, V-I-M-S or M-M-S, VIMS Layer. Go on that website, go to the vault, and they've got thousands of games that have been uploaded. They've been checked. They're free from viruses, allegedly. And you can download those for free, and it'll play. So, for example, this game board has Punch-Out, which was an arcade game. You could also get Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which came out on Nintendo. You can get Zelda, Skate or Die, Spy Hunter, Paperboy. This game board already has Gauntlet, Metroid, Castlevania, pretty much every arcade game ever made between 1979 and like 2001. So anyway, this video was for a customer of mine. I don't know if I said this. Adela had asked me, she was going to get the 412 board, and she just said, is there a way for me to search for the games alphabetically? And my initial answer was no, but I thought about it, and I said, you know what? In theory, you could run the bigger game board in this cabinet. It just requires me to turn the monitor around. I have to change the trackball adapter. You have to buy the PlayStation controllers. If you're over there, you cannot use the arcade joysticks. They're not going to function over here. At least, I think they'll move it, but if you're moving sideways, anyway, you need the PlayStation controllers. So all in, the difference in price, if you got the Pandora DX, you need about $100 for me to modify the monitor, put in the trackball adapters, and then the PlayStation controllers with that USB power strip are $70. But anyway, this setup is certainly not for everybody. But if you are on a budget and you really were looking at the ultimate cocktail table and you love the idea of being able to play all those games, you can do it on this cabinet. Just send me an email and ask me how. I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to press the B button. And then in terms of, I'm going to keep this video short. I've got so many more videos that talk about the Pandora DX. I've got videos that show the gameplay. I've got videos that show what it looks like when you download the games. Also, just so you know, when you enter a game, it does fill up the entire screen. I once had a person say, well, is that the whole thing? It's like, no, it'll open up. Let me show you. Oops. And just remember, that's why I've got this sitting here. On this side of the cabinet, you're going to be using the PlayStation controllers. But over here, you've got like Gauntlet, X-Men versus Capcom, Marvel versus Capcom, Mortal Kombat, pretty much all the games. I think I've got the volume turned down, but all right, so you get the gist over here, and then you just press and hold the one-player start button. When you do that, a window's gonna pop up. It's gonna say save, load. The reason that says null is because there is no previously saved progress. This is a brand new game card. But if you did have a save point, that word null would be gone. Where you really use the save progress is on quest games. So if you're familiar with the game Zelda, it's not the kind of game you just play and then put down. You play and then you got to save your progress. You don't start new every time. You could, but it's a pointless, it takes like 20 hours to beat the game. So you got to save incrementally, and using that feature is pretty cool. Move down here to exit. So you can see I'm using the joysticks, but when I push down, it'd be really hard to play games because you're sideways. But we're gonna go down to exit. And we're gonna flip back over. Oh, I wanted to show you, hold on. We're gonna go to the setup screen real quick here. Just so you know, on the back of every board, there's a setup button. So on this board, I have other videos that'll show you that, but on this board it is, I can't see it. Where are you? There we go. And so down here, this is under system configuration. This is where you change it from coin operator to free play. This is another feature that this game board offers. The other one doesn't have this. Right now it's on cocktail mode. That way it's going to flip back and forth. And then this is where you can map out the controllers. Okay, I'm rambling on now. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.